Duality, non-duality, monism, pluralism or paganism and all that, whatever. These are all philosophies. Philosophies or some opinions. When a person becomes a seeker of truth, he has to go beyond all philosophies, because finally it is nothing of this. It is different from all that. Monism means they believe in one God. That is, they don't worship multiple gods, but they believe in one God. Duality means they believe in some God and he is working with the material. That means the world, material world and the conscious God, they are two different entities. That the God needs the material to create the world. That is duality generally. In Vedanta, we neither call it monism nor call it duality. It is not monism at all. Monism means Ekeshwara, that is one God. Vedanta is not that. Vedanta we call non-duality. Instead of duality, it is non-duality. Why? Because the ultimate discovery of our Atma or the soul or the truth is, it is a non-dual experience, not a philosophy. Non-dual experience means, normally in our life we always have duality. What is that? I am the knower, I am knowing something. When I am reading the Upanishads or Vedas also, Vedas are different from me, the knower or the reader. We are different. Even when we are absorbing the knowledge of the truth or knowledge of the self or Atma, that knowledge initially is different from me. By learning, listening, reading, contemplating, I am acquiring the knowledge. Is it not? So there is a difference. Now, be more attentive. Normally, suppose I have the knowledge of the camera. By having the knowledge, will I become camera? We will remain different. So there the duality is absolutely true, that by having the knowledge of the camera, I will not become camera. By knowledge, having the knowledge of anything in the world, I am not going to become that object. But what about this knowledge of Atma? We should think well. Knowledge of Atma is what? It is the knowledge about our own self. Atma means our own identity. It's the knowledge of our own identity, our own self. So more and more we absorb this knowledge of the Atma, the identity in me, the idea of the I concept in me undergoes a change. Earlier I was thinking I am becoming Sukhi, I am becoming Dukhi, I am encapsulated by the I, my I is different from your I, all this was there. More and more we understand this concept of the Atma. What is happening is that I undergoes a change. So, more and more we advance in this self-knowledge, we become the real self. We become the knowledge. That is, knowledge and knower difference gets eliminated. Are you able to understand? So, the final stage is when the knowledge, knower, the knowing process, all the three get fused. We call it non-dual experience. Advaita Anubhuti, it is called. It is not only that, in Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a devotional scripture also, right in the beginning, there is a verse which says, Vadanti tat tattvavidaha tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdyate. See, it is a book of duality, so to say. Devotional books are generally God is different from you. You are thinking. But see what the book writes right in the beginning. It says, Vadanti tat tattvavidaha tattvam yajnanam advayam. Those who are knower of truth, tattvavid means those who know the truth. They say that the truth is whatever we call as the advaya jnana, non-dual knowledge. Brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdyate. That is called Brahman in the Vedanta or philosophy. Paramatma for the spiritualist and Bhagavan for the religionist. Bhagavan means Ishvara or God. So it is termed differently by the different people, but the real thing in all that, the ultimate truth, is the non-dual truth. Jnanam Advayam, the non-dual knowledge. Why? Because when you are, I said earlier also, you are trying to know, that difference is there. Finally, when all the thoughts, all the signals have gone, the soul reveals itself. There is no two there. There is no knower and known difference there. The knowledge itself reveals. The Atma reveals itself. As the Atma is revealing the entire external world, internal world, it reveals itself. So in our country, in our literature, there is something new. Generally in science we have pratyaksha and paroksha. That is perceptional knowledge, which is seen by the sense organs, and inference. Paroksha means inferential knowledge. Most of our scientific knowledge is paroksha. Nobody has ever seen an atom or an elementary particle. The concept of elementary particle or atom is something inferred from what we are seeing through our various experiments. It's an inferred knowledge. Everything is inference. Even God is an inference, is it not? Because we find that everything needs a cause. Here, everything is causality, following causality. So there must be a cause of the universe. So we assume that there must be a cause of the universe, so God is the cause. So it's an inference from that. General concept of God is an inference. Now, these two knowledges are common. Pratyaksha means perceptual knowledge, and paroksha, which encompasses most of the knowledges. See, electricity also, that there is a power failure, how do you say? The electricity is no more coming from the supply department. All have gone off. If only the bulb goes off, you say that the bulb has got fused. Are they not inferences? But when everything has gone off, the AC also has gone off. Either something has tripped. If you find that it has not tripped, then you say that something has tripped from the transformer. Electricity you have not seen. So electricity is an inference there. That the electricity is not there is an inference. Most of the knowledge is at that. In our literature, there is an additional kind of knowledge. What is that? It is called aparoksha. The name given is neither pratyaksha nor paroksha. It is called aparoksha. That is self-revealing. That is called the aparoksha anubhuti, the experience of aparoksha. That is meant by the Advaita, Jnanam Advayam also, the same thing. In another sense, the other way of understanding aparoksha is that you are you able to say that by your senses? Can you see yourself by your senses, the consciousness? That I am. Or even say you have a mind. Are you seeing your mind with the senses? Is it an inference? If it is others' mind, it can be inference. The cat has a mind or not, that I have to infer from the behavior. But that I have a mind is my direct knowledge. It is neither pratyaksha nor paroksha. Actually, it is aparoksha. Similarly, that I am, that nobody, if I prove also that you are not going to accept. Suppose by logic I prove that no, you are not. I can prove by mathematics. Will you accept? I know that I am. Let your logic be there anywhere. I know that I am. So this is a direct knowledge which is not taking recourse to any indriyas, any sense organs or any inferences of the intelligence. That is called the aparoksha. So actually we have aparoksha knowledge about our mind, about our consciousness or Atma also. But the difference is that the real aparoksha knowledge, the revelation of the Atma is also like that. It is an aparoksha. Atma can never be seen by the sense organs. It need not be inferred from anything also. It comes as a self-revelation. That is why it is called aparoksha.